Thank you, Talia. Our second entry is Jason Chen, whose speech asks us to consider how majors align with our values. We're going to wait a little bit for Jason to get mic'd up.
As a Hamilton College student, I've had my fair share of firsts. My first classes, my first orientation trip, and my first time meeting the Hamilton community. In all of these experiences, I've had but this one question asked to me consistently: what is your major? Now, in response, I would say that I'm a literature major. But in reality, that's not what I actually want to do for the rest of my life. I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate. Your current major is merely a placeholder until sophomore year when you actually have to consider what you want to do. Probably the biggest reason why it's so hard to choose your major is you're either choosing a major that has high financial prospects or a major that you have genuine passion for. In short, it feels like passion versus money. While some students may argue that you should choose your passion over money, others argue that you can't exactly be happy if you're constantly worried about student debt or putting food on the table. So naturally, I began researching how college graduates came to choose their major, talking with my mentors, and just trying to figure out whether or not my concentration would even matter in the next 10 years. Ultimately, I found that we as Hamilton College students tend to over-exaggerate the impact that our major has on our economic futures. So when you are choosing your major, I want you guys to consider two things. One, your personality, and two, your purpose. The first thing I want to talk about is how we tend to over-exaggerate the impact that our major has. Typically, college students see their concentration as a gateway towards economic success. And this is especially true of students from low-income backgrounds and immigrant families. So it's really important that you choose your major on time. Otherwise, you risk delaying graduation and then having to spend another extra semester of tuition that you don't have. All of these issues are valid, but still highly exaggerated. According to the US Department of Labor, they found that college graduates in their current jobs weren't even related to what they had studied in college. In fact, let's take a look at Caitlin Chang's example, a Hamilton College alumni from the class of 2013. She currently works at a big finance company, making over 6 figures as an events planner, according to the Hamilton College News website. Her concentration in college? She majored in Chinese with a minor in communications. Now wait, why was it that she was able to land a high-paying job at a finance company, yet her concentration seemed as though she was carving out a path to become a translator? In order to figure this out, we must look at what she did outside of the classroom. The first thing that she did was her job as a tour guide, which enhanced her public speaking skills. Second, her job as an IT consultant honed her problem-solving skills. And third, her job at CAB allowed her to plan the biggest events on campus, showing to employers that she was a team player and had good work ethic. There are countless many more stories like Caitlin's, but ultimately, you don't have to worry that your major is going to decide your fate, or even the job that you have after graduation. Now, I want to talk about how to actually choose your major. And the first thing I want you guys to consider is your personality. Let's say, for example, a Hamilton College student was passionate about the arts. She may lean more towards the artistic type, a person who thrives under creativity, freedom, and expression. Let's take a look at another Hamilton College student that may be passionate about economics. She may be the conventional type, a person who thrives under set deadlines and clear-cut rules. But we know that a degree in arts may not guarantee a stable financial future. So that Hamilton College student that's passionate about art may just choose to concentrate in economics instead. And if she does make it through the next 4 years of college, it'll be another 20 years of a soul-sucking job that isn't putting her good talents to use. Ultimately, you have to make sure that your personality and that your chosen concentration is congruent. The second thing I want you guys to consider is your purpose. Your purpose is not only reflected in your concentration, but also in your extracurricular activities. But for many of us, we can't say exactly why we chose our particular concentration. And this is because from a very young age, the moment we stepped into school, we were told to adopt the performance mindset, which, according to Dr. Bell Yang, is the idea that our motivations come from external sources, like getting a high GPA, money, and winning competitions such as these for the social status, prestige, and the validation of getting into Hamilton. Rather than having this narrow, cutthroat view of education, we must adopt something called the purpose mindset, which is the idea that your long-term goals are personal to you and can have an impact on others. Now, in order to practice what I preach, I want to give you guys an example of my own story. My long-term goal is to create a more inclusive curriculum in New York City's K-12 public education system. This is personal to me for two reasons. One, I myself is from New York City, and two, the one time my middle school teacher actually taught about different sexual identities, my teacher couldn't even answer my question on whether or not a person can be gay and transgender at the same time. Now, ultimately, you have to make sure that your purpose is aligned with your long-term goals so that your long-term goals can have an impact on others. Now, to recap, when you're choosing your major, just make sure that you're choosing something that you actually enjoy in the next 4 years, because it's not going to decide your fate or even the career that you have after graduation. Second, your personality and your chosen field of concentration should be in congruence. Now, lastly, for the purpose part, I'm currently a college student intended major and concentration in sociology and in education because of my personality that naturally inclines towards social responsibility. I'm currently a middle school teaching fellow in order to impact first-generation students like myself. But all of these can change. But the one thing that's not going to change is my ultimate long-term goal of creating education equity. Finally, it's not just about passion versus money. It's something more complicated. It's about putting the effort to change from the performance mindset to the purpose mindset so that your long-term goals that are personal to you can have an impact on others. Thank you.